The most common question Dave and I get asked by new investors is, with all the people coming into the land business, is it still a good business? The answer, of course, is not yes. It's hell yes. But success requires finding ways to break away from the pack, to find your own blue ocean. With 2.43 billion acres in the United States, that should be eminently doable. One way to do this is to go upmarket into larger and or more expensive properties. Today in the Land.MBA podcast, Dave and I are going to dive deep into the advantages of going upmarket and how it can change your land business.
Hey buddy, what's going on today?
Well, I think today we are going to talk about the advantages of going upmarket into larger and more expensive properties.
Excellent. So that's not
So
necessarily larger, but it's larger in price.
that's right, larger and or more expensive properties.
Right.
So I guess the first question is, why would we do this? Well, I think that we've certainly, you and I have seen, having been doing this for 5, 6 years now, that the market has changed a bit because there are certain players that are bringing a lot of people into this business, teaching them the business, mostly around desert squares and where we started, and what was really just a dynamo business back in 2015, 2016. It's a more competitive marketplace now just because there's more players. And a lot of these players, they don't make it, they wash out. But before they wash out, they send mail, and it really kind of messes up the market because it creates expectations of the sellers. So
Right.
it's now we call a seller, and they're getting five letters a day from investors. So it's the great deals aren't quite what they used to be in those desert squares, but there are 2.43 billion acres in the United States. There's a heck of a lot there. I mean, we talk about Bill Gates is now the largest owner of farmland in the United States, but that's coming out to like, I think, 244,000 acres. So think 244,000 acres versus 2.43 billion acres. So there's a lot of land out there, and especially when you get into the more expensive stuff, which is not necessarily where guys like Bill Gates and the Chinese are playing. They're playing in the farmland market. There is a lot of opportunity all over in all the states for these kinds of properties. So yeah, I think it's still a phenomenal market, and there are some compelling reasons to go up market in order to break away from the pack. Would you like to receive a short, easily digestible email each Friday containing the 5 coolest articles, videos, apps, and hacks that we found of interest specifically to land investors? If so, go to land.mba/newsletter to sign up, and each Friday we'll send you for free the coolest email in land investing. That's land.mba/newsletter.
So I'll just talk about some of the pros. I mean, for your business, you're going to add larger cash chunks to your revenue stream. And if you're relying just on doing volume on cheap stuff, you got to do a lot of volume. So this enables you to do less volume. Doesn't mean that you have to exclude the the inexpensive stuff from your strategy, because you know, keep it in there because if you want to, because it's nice for creating terms deals and having that steady cash flow. But you got to mix in some of these, we're going to call them, medium chunks. Um, and then the high enough prices can justify you using realtors and using title companies. And this allows you to outsource a tremendous amount of your work, really simplifying your business model. Um, and then, I mean, with some of these chunks, I mean, let's just say let's say you're doing this as a side hustle, and you want to make some extra money with minimal work because it's a side hustle. Well, you can change your life with one or two deals a year. But imagine just doing one deal a quarter that netted you 20 grand profit each, 20, 25, as much as 40, hell, even six figures of profit each. It's very doable, but really, really doable to, do a $20,000, $25,000 profit deal per quarter. Um, that's life changing to a lot of people. You're able to do that consistently, then you can look back 6 months later and go, why am I still working? Right? Get you
So
to put
let's
your
make this
toes to work.
real, Dave. Let's
Yeah.
make this real. Talk about your recent massive deal.
Well, so not even the massive one, just the bread and butters. I mean, I this month I closed two deals that I paid 12 for one and 15 for the other. Sold the one that I paid 12 for, I think 40K, and the one I paid 15 for 42K. Um, and very quickly, I sold them through a realtor, and I sold them in, both of those sold in about a week or two. And then of course, look, we've probably talked about this before. I have a deal that was, I consider it a lucky deal, but it's the harder I work, the luckier I get. The more you keep putting one foot in front of the other, every now and then you're going to get lucky. But I bought a deal for 40,000. I sold it for 36 hours through a realtor for 240,000. So
Whoa.
those are all deals I've closed in the first quarter. But take that 240,000 deal out, and if I just did two more of those bread and butter, paid 15, sold for 40, 42, that's a decent damn living.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and so, in the meantime, yeah, I'm still doing not cheap desert squares, but I'm also doing, cheaper deals that I sell on terms. So there's a lot of pros to having those. A lot of people are afraid to step out and do those deals, but hey, we've got land funders out there that'll fund those all day long now. So I mean, hell, even if you take that $20,000 profit because you don't have any money and you got to partner with a land funder and only take 10,000, well, you're going to grow your business a lot faster with, let's say, 10K a month profit versus on those deals versus trying to do these, $500,000 deals. And yeah, maybe you get 5x, 6x return on that $1,000 investment, but you spent 1,000, you made 6,000, you got some overhead. So okay, I made 5,000 a deal. You got to do a lot more of those, and most of those you're selling on terms too, at that price point. So it takes, all of a sudden you've got this cash flow deficiency. So, of course, this also enables you to separate yourself out from the masses, because the masses that are coming in from, some of these companies are really crowding out, as Howard just talked about, the desert square type level. And I would say the vast majority of those people come in and realize, man, this is a lot of work, and I'm not making that much money doing these small deals, and they flame out. But like he said, they'll screw up the market by sending out poor offers,
Yeah,
offering
not even well-priced offers.
yeah, exactly. Um, so the other thing that I like about going upscale a little bit is that you're dealing with a little bit different buyer clientele. They're a little more sophisticated. They're less apt to default if you do seller financing on these, and they're generally more pleasant people to work with and have more realistic expectations. They're not the guy calling for a $5,000 desert square expecting a year-round creek running through it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Are you ready to launch your success in the land business? If you are, I want to tell you about the Land.MBA Accelerator Program. So many programs teach you theory and process, but leave it up to you to figure out how to execute. The Land.MBA Accelerator Program is different than anything else out there because it doesn't just teach you what you need to know, it drives you to turn knowledge into action. Layered on top of our end-to-end land business essentials video course, the Accelerator is a 6-week intensive small group course that goes deep on the most important topics like county selection, pricing, marketing, and more. In each session, you'll get specific assignments to turn what you learn into the right actions at the right times. So go to land.mba/accelerator. That's land.mba/accelerator and use coupon code PODCAST to get the accelerator plus a 1-year subscription to the Land.MBA Mastermind program and 25% off all our other courses in our catalog for 1 year. Courses such as the Advanced Master Your Pricing course. You'll also get $100 off of Price Boss, the premier pricing tool in the industry. Our May session is filling up fast, but we still have a few seats left. So if you're ready to launch your success, don't hesitate. Go to land.mba/accelerator today.
What are some of the cons, Howard?
Well, they certainly require more due diligence and maybe even boots on the ground to make sure you understand what it is you're buying. You really have to, you're dealing with bigger numbers, you're dealing with more sophisticated sellers and buyers, which means you really have to know what the value is of what you're buying and what you can sell it for. Because otherwise, you're taking more risk because you're working with larger numbers. So more due diligence, boots on the ground, possibly the good advice from a trusted partner like a local realtor would be very, very valuable. The other potential downside is that it's generally lower conversion rates. So it's harder to get these deals. It takes more mail, more SMSs, however you're communicating with sellers. It takes your conversion rates are going to be lower to find these deals just because a lot of these people they are more sophisticated and they can potentially sell through more traditional channels and if they wanted to. They can take longer to close, especially if you're doing larger deals that involve improvements such as subdividing or surveyors. Sometimes the way things are working right now, people are backed up. Surveyors can be backed up for 4 months at a time before they can get in there and do a proper survey. Another potential downside is it's a lower ROI relative to smaller deals. So smaller deals, when we started, it was more in the 20 cents on the dollar. So we were making 300, 400, 500. I've made 3,000% on a deal. So in these larger, more expensive deals, maybe you're getting more like 50% or 40% ROI on a deal. So the ROI is lower than the smaller deals. But again, you're dealing with larger numbers. So the question is that really a con or is it not a con? I guess you can make your own call on that. And then finally, it requires more capital. So you're going to want to learn some more things. And one of the things you're going to want to learn is how to deal with financiers and people who can finance some of these deals for you so that you're not always playing with your money, but you're using OPM, other people's money as well.
Yep. And if you're new also, and you're going up the ladder on price point, it gives you if you're going through one of these land funders, they're usually pretty experienced people, so they're not gonna loan you money unless they really feel good about the deal. So you get an extra set of eyeballs on it, vetting the deal. So, all right. So we talked about the pros and the cons. Now we're going to talk about what I like. This is sort of my business strategy and what and why I like it. So I sort of like a blend of three, let's call them income streams. And that is bread and butter cash flips, like I talked about earlier, paying, let's say on the low side, 5 up to, 15 or 20K. So typical deals, sell for 5 or buy for 5, sell for 15, maybe 12 to 15. Occasionally you get lucky and get a hit at 20. Or, buying for, 15, selling for 40, 35, 40, 45,000. Those give you nice cash chunks. They're a little harder to get, but not that much harder. You just have to send more mail. But the thing is, if you only convert one deal on a $3 or $4 or $5,000 mailer sometimes, but you convert one of these, you're okay with that. But if you only convert one cheap desert square on a mailer that size, that doesn't even pay for it. So then the less expensive, not so much the desert squares, but maybe just a rung up from those. I like to keep those in the pipeline also, so I can create terms deals. I do like having that steady cash flow that I know pays the bills if I don't sell a bread and butter property that month. So these are, maybe what we're paying 2 to 5,000 for and selling for, 10 to 25 on terms. And then finally the above bread and butter, the higher price deals. Okay. So the high ticket deals, might include something that you'd split or subdivide, something that you need to rezone, something that you get a great price on, but it requires a bunch of title work, like quiet title and things like that. These deals can take a long time before you actually get paid. Now, I'd love to only do those types of deals. The problem is, you can sit here and go, well, yeah, payday is going to be really nice when they eventually get these sold. But in the meanwhile, your business dies because of lack of cash flow. So I like having the mixed stream of income. I've got an example of right now. I have 3 properties in escrow, and on 3 properties they represent a profit of about $400,000 at least to my bottom line. I'll probably only get one of those, and we're only in early May as we record this, and I'll probably only get one of those sold this year. If I'm lucky, I'll get the other 2 sold this year. But, I've got surveyors that are backed up 4 months. I've got quiet title and things like that. So these deals are worth doing, absolutely. But, you don't want to die on the vine while you're waiting for that grand payday someday, right? So, but ideally, you keep that engine churning, and so okay, this 3 by the next month that turns into 5 or 6, and the next month, et cetera, et cetera. So if you keep that pipeline full of these types of deals, then maybe you don't have to do those smaller deals. But I like having a nice mix in the business, hedges your bets, keeps the cash flow going, mitigates your risk. So with that, I think I'm done, Howard. Why don't you finish this?
As we look at these strategies, the way we look at it at Land.MBA is we do not come at it from the perspective of, oh, let's just do a bunch of cheap desert squares. We're going to teach the basics of the business, and then boom, you're on your own. We believe that step one is to understand that there are many strategies in this business, and the strategy that you choose should depend upon who you are, where you are, what you're bringing to the table. And there are a lot of personal factors that may determine what kind of strategy you want to go after. And then from that, then we can start talking about picking counties and pricing and all the other kind of things that we have to do in this business. If you think that going up market is something that you would like to do, it's something we would love to help you with too. So please go check out Land.MBA. That's our website, Land.MBA. Check out our programs. We've got our video course. We've got our Accelerator Program, which is the group coaching on top of the Accelerator course, which will really help you move much more quickly to get mail out the door, opportunities on the table. And all the other programs with the advanced programs we have, like Master Your Pricing and some of the others. Check them out. We're here to help. If you have any questions, give us a call, and let's see what we can do together to help you build your financial success. So thanks so much for listening. Always great to have you. As always, please like, comment, and rate the podcast, the YouTube page. It really helps us. We really, really appreciate it. Have a wonderful week. Go grab some deals, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, had a bit of fun, and walked away with some actionable insights that you can apply to your business. Dave and I have got some great content and interviews planned, so don't forget to rate and review, and of course subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. If we mention any interesting links or tools, you'll find them in the show notes. To learn more about Land.MBA, visit our website at, wait for it, Land.MBA. See you next time on the Land.MBA podcast.